What's up, everyone? It is almost Men's Health Month, and if you are a man or you know a man, then you're going to want to watch this video because we have 6 incredible tips for men's health. Welcome to Sage Health TV. I am Barry Napier. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer and Strategist here at Sage Medical with our founder and perhaps the greatest living naturopathic doctor in the Seattle area.
Absolutely. Thank you, Barry.
Dr. Angela Yeagley.
And greatest marketing officer.
Yeah, right. So it's almost Men's Health Month. Well, it is Men's Health Month. It's Men's Health Week. It's almost Father's Day is what I was thinking.
Yes.
And men's health topics are top of mind. Always top of mind for me as a man.
Of course.
And, you know, I want to stay healthy, as do most men that I know. And so today we're going to get into 6 tips that we want to talk about. Okay. So first is an unusual tip. You're not going to find this on your boring list.
This is Barry's tip, and I totally agree with this. I think this is great because it's something that I think that's not addressed.
It's not addressed properly.
Yeah.
And this is it, guys. Take care of your skin. Okay, ladies, don't let your men not take care of their skin. Guys,
did you know Barry's 60, and so his skin looks great.
60 years old. I'm telling you. No, 46. 46. I'm 46, and I think I'm a youthful 46. I would say
very much so.
Very youthful. So part of that is skincare, right? You got to take care of your skin, and it's interesting that men actually have less collagen as they age. They lose collagen. Fascinating. I just found this out. And so what happens? That leads to that, you know, thinner skin, more sunken wrinkles, that accelerated aging. And I meet a lot of guys who are older. They look older than they actually are.
Yes. Yeah, I do think that's common, and I think it's because, well, one, you're right. Like, I feel like men probably pay less attention to skincare in general, like doing the moisturizers,
like
sunscreen. Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know if that's just because of, women from a very early age, you're like, oh, your girlfriends are doing it. Your mother tells you about it. Yeah, usually probably your dad wasn't like, hey, take care of your skin. Yeah, that ended up being like your choice. So yes, it's fine to moisturize, guys. Like,
get them moisturizing. Get some kind of a daily, some hydration serums or a nighttime thing, and do it.
Yes.
And then also look at, I think as you get into your 40s and your 50s, I'm a big fan of Potenza.
We love it.
We're freaks about Potenza here, which is a whole kind of, it's like laser but better than laser. It's
microneedling. So it's a microneedling device with radio frequency, and actually it actually will firm and tighten skin I'm a big fan of using it with PRP, which is platelet-rich plasma, which is a type of regenerative medicine, and so will actually kind of has a stem cell-like activity, and so you get kind of rejuvenation and replenishment of the collagen.
It's not just for the ladies, gentlemen.
Yes. So Barry has had a treatment. That's right.
I love Potenza. Yeah. I have a treatment. I have another treatment coming up soon.
Yes, and I do as well. Yeah. So we're super excited about that. So totally fine. And then also you want to think about like what are the nutrients that you're bringing in. And so taking collagen is just fine. Vitamin C is really good for the skin. And then also thinking about like like hyaluronic acid is another one that's really, really nice. So
yes. Get something.
Something's
better than nothing. And also check out Potenza.
Right.
Okay. Number 2. This is an obvious one, but it has to be stated, and that's eating real foods.
Yeah. Whole foods.
Yeah, whole foods.
Yes.
Real whole foods. I mean, without question, the biggest thing that we can do as men for our health is look at the food that we're eating and ask ourselves, is it good enough for me? Is it good enough for me? Is this food good enough for the guy that I want to be, for the health I want to have? And oftentimes the answer is no, it's not good enough.
Yeah.
So upgrade it.
Yeah.
Eat real food.
So maybe let's talk about what that looks like. So maybe it looks like not having fast food, right?
Or less, once a week or once a month.
Yeah, make it more like a treat. I would say it's like it's rare. You're having an experience as opposed to that's like how you feed yourself, right? And then, we encourage people like eat the rainbow, right? So, vegetables really should be a large part of your plate. You should be eating fruits. And then if, fine to eat meat, absolutely. If you can, make it organic or grass-fed. I think that's better as well. And then anything that, if we're looking at less processed. So I like, as far as an approach goes, I really like Whole30. Like something like that is going to... Or paleo, style, right. Yeah. And all of that is like very little sugar and only like whole fiber grains, right?
Yeah, Mark Sisson, Daily Apple, his stuff is all great. I mean, there's a lot of that stuff that's awesome, and I would agree. I mean, The simplest way I would do it is I would have a protein shake for your breakfast with some frozen fruit. Get your fruit in there, your fiber, and put some collagen in there. Collagen,
there you go.
yeah, boom, blend it up, 30 seconds. Because I mean, it's like I'm generally kind of a lazy cooker, but I manage to eat real foods because I follow this exactly. This is what I eat every day. It's basically shake.
Yeah.
And then tacos for lunch. Everyday tacos.
Of course, tacos.
The only food you need in your whole life is tacos. It's a perfect food.
You're putting some greens on there, right?
Yeah, yeah. Get some cabbage. You know, they have these. Oh man, PCC here in the Seattle area has the best tortilla shells. The Mi Rancheros are really good, and the sprouted grains are insane.
Nice.
2 of those, cabbage, and then some fish or some grass-fed ground beef that you put some tacos to, whatever, some kind of meat in there, and an avocado.
Love it. Dinner tacos.
You can do it. I've done it. Lunch and dinner. I would live that way if I had no idea. If it was only me, that's what I would do. And then for dinner, you have some kind of a cooked meat or a fish or some kind of a protein, like a lean, clean, delicious protein. If you're going to eat steak, I would eat the filet mignon or the filet. Yeah, that's my favorite. Or the flank steak is a really great option. And then a vegetable and a potato. Yeah, and you live that life, gentlemen. You can feel good. All right. Number 3.
So I'm gonna, well, of course, I'll just say exercise, right? So of course, very important movement, very important important for mood. And I feel like also when you're feeling and looking better, like when you look better, then it just kind of cycles upon itself. Then you feel better, like you continually, right?
It's an upward spiral.
It's an upward spiral, yeah. So I'm gonna let Barry talk about weights.
Yeah, I think the thing with exercise when I think about guys is it really, you have naturally the ability to kind of build more muscle mass than women because of testosterone, right? We know, so it's like you should, in like lean muscle mass, I'm not talking about you don't need to be all like giant, roided out and like huge, but having muscle is so beneficial from so many different ways, right? I mean, it's connected to living longer, and you can eat more food and
less pain.
Every health marker is more muscle is good, right? So lift weights, right? That's where I feel like, it's not about just doing some cardio, which is great. Awesome. Cardio is awesome, but you want to increase your lean muscle mass, right? So either at home, by investing in and building out a home gym set, or going to a gym, or getting into something like a CrossFit type thing or functional fitness. But definitely you want to lift weights, not just hit the treadmill or the stair steps.
Yeah, and I mean, essentially, they're not going to grow unless you're
They do not grow unless you lift weights.
Right,
it is
There's
hard.
You're not going to running,
to grow muscle. Okay,
yeah.
I've been lifting weights for a long time, 40 years. Since I was 6. No.
They're hardcore in New York.
No,
so,
super hardcore. Yeah. Football is life. Give that kid some weights. Wrestling. No, but I've been lifting weights since since I was in high school, right? So, and I can tell you, I'm still lifting weights. I was lifting weights just yesterday, as a matter of fact.
Fantastic.
And the muscles don't just grow. You have to push them. It's hard.
And, I would say, especially with say in my own experience recently of getting into this world, that I feel like having some direction, if you have never done that and you're like, oh, usually I run or I hike or I just walk, having a coach or being around people who can coach you, like a functional fitness space.
Yeah, like an industrious, or if you go to a gym, get sign up for a trainer package.
Yes.
Don't let intimidation or lack of knowledge prevent you from the benefits of lifting weights.
Absolutely, yeah, I would say get a coach for sure. Take your supplements. Okay, so really, a lot of people I think like to think that they can manage most of their nutrients with food, and so that may be the case if your diet is perfect and dialed in. But even if it's really fantastic, it really, our soil unfortunately is depleted. You're not going to get all the nutrients you need, especially as you age. And so I would encourage you, we'll talk about the testing, figure out what you need specifically, because we really are individuals and we have different genetic needs and then also different challenges, right? But I would say as a basic, not everybody probably needs to do a multivitamin, but if you're really not doing anything else,
Do a multivitamin.
yeah, take a really quality multivitamin. I'm a huge fan also of vitamin D. You have to have extra vitamin D. If you live anywhere near the Pacific Northwest, like you have to have a lot of vitamin D in your system, like because it's not coming from the sun. And there were even studies actually done in Florida and Texas, where massive amount of sun, where most of the population is deficient, and it's because people are running from one air conditioned place to another, and they're using a lot of sunscreen. So they pretty much are almost as deficient as we are. So
vitamin D.
you have to, at a minimum of 5,000, and then maybe more if you're extremely deficient. And then there are others for kind of more specialized needs. Sometimes we do some prostate support, like herbs that are helpful with that. Any others that you really like?
Yeah, I mean, I just skip like the line and just get the IV nutrient therapy. Like, so I'm like, again, lazy, forgetful. Like taking supplements. It's like, oh yeah, that's right. I was supposed to do that years ago, and I was like, I totally forgot. Just get the IV, right? I mean, that's what the thing is. Like that's the better move. But I mean, if you're not getting an IV once a month or every week, if you're a baller, like listen, executives. Chief CEO of your life, you deserve it. Okay, but so IV nutrient therapy is definitely the way to go because you get like the whole range, and it bypasses the gut, so you get all the benefit and you really feel it. So if you're one of those that are kind of skeptical about vitamins, like you definitely can feel it when you get IV nutrient therapy. Feel amazing.
And I was going to say what. Likely you're talking about the combination. It's a combination that has like tons of vitamin C. It has lots of B vitamins. It has minerals. High dose magnesium, and we love glutathione.
And the glutathione. Which
that's the extra one, but it's really fantastic.
Don't even get me started on glutathione. Take over. It's the best.
So I would say, but in addition to this, come see us, like, because we all do have personalized needs.
Yeah, and you can get really dialed into your supplements and really, from a genetic standpoint, do some really incredible testing that we do here, kind of walk you through what specific vitamins you need for your very specific makeup and your biological pathways. It's fascinating and it's cool.
Yeah, and it's gonna. I mean, long term, you're gonna feel so much better. You'll feel like typically really, really good.
Yep.
So
highly recommend.
So testing. Yeah. So this at least once a year, guys. I know a lot of times the men we see here have been, brought here by wives or mothers, and then once they get here, they're happy. We keep them because they're like, oh my God, this is great. And you find out so much cool information about yourself. And so the things that we start looking at, every year, you really want to look at your prostate levels, that's a PSA. You want to be looking at like your general liver kidney function, just your blood in general. You need to look at iron and make sure you don't have too much iron in your system. That tends to be a problem with guys. You probably hear about iron deficiency because of, probably you have a wife or a partner that you're like, you see they're having, periods, and so they're losing iron. So really, really common. That's probably you've heard, your partner go, oh, I'm iron deficient. I have to take some iron. That is not the case for you. Men are different. You're not, if you're bleeding monthly, there's a problem. You need to come in and have that checked out. But you're not shedding that iron every month. And so men tend to build it up. So I have men that come in that are using like cast iron pans, and that's a big no-no. So, and then we need to look at others. I like looking at B vitamins, so that's like a homocysteine. And if, depending on certain conditions, I like looking at vitamin C or vitamin A. So, and then other like food allergies, things like that. So we can kind of go deep just depending on what you're dealing with. Lots of testing, at least once a year.
Yeah, basics, and then from there you can get into the other, but get the testing
done. Oh, testosterone.
Yeah.
So we absolutely will also want to check your testosterone levels, and because
usually most cases are getting in their 30s and 40s, and there's things we can do to help get that back up because that's connected to so many feelings of greatness and also great things that your body wants to do.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. So, okay. And then the last, number 6, ask for help. So, what I found over the years in just working with men is that, most men are not really encouraged, like as you're growing up, to express yourself and to just, share your feelings. And if things are hard or you're feeling really stressed, I have 4 brothers, and the thought was my dad is awesome, but it'd be like, I absolutely heard him say like, be a man, like, stop crying, you know,
Right,
and
right.
like versus like my sister and I, we were a lot like freely encouraged to cry, like, oh, come here, like, let me hug you, you know.
Yeah.
Men don't get that, right? So
Often not.
often not, yeah. So, I mean, it's okay. It's okay. I really encourage you if you're feeling super stressed or you're feeling depressed or you're anxious, you know, even if you don't feel comfortable with your partner, like, you know, see a provider, see a counselor, like, you know, absolutely okay to talk about these things. And I just have found personally, like, many times just talking about it can be enough that all of a sudden you're like, oh, I feel better, you know. And it really can be an avenue, especially for a counselor or a provider, to really help bring in resources for you and that could be, you know, brain supplements, it could be medications, you know, depending on the severity of what you're dealing with. So just, you know, it's okay. It's okay to share, right?
And you should. Yeah, and you
Yeah.
should. And step outside of that comfort zone. I know that kind of trap of just not sometimes giving enough time or priority to finding someone to talk to. Or I've never even seen a therapist. I've never seen a therapist. I definitely should have seen a therapist at certain points in my life. Like I probably need a therapist right now.
I think everybody needs one,
Definitely,
honestly.
you know,
yeah.
absolutely. But like, I mean, there you go, you know. And I
Yeah.
like to talk about my feelings
Yeah.
a little to sometimes, right?
Yeah,
But I mean,
yeah.
it's hard sometimes to find the time or the place,
Yeah.
or be, you know, have everything feel like it aligns. But you know, talking about how you're feeling, or finding someone to talk to, or getting whatever that help is, the research you need. Yeah, it's a skill, right? Asking for help is like something you have to practice in order to feel comfortable doing it. And so highly encourage you that if you're in any kind of, you know, interior state where you're not feeling great, that you figure it out. You know, the answer's out there, and don't live in that place where you feel trapped or unheard, or you feel empty or alone. Get help.
Absolutely. Well said.
Thank you. All right. Well, those are our tips for the guys out there to have a great Men's Health Month and a men's health kind of life.
Yeah.
That's what we want a great life.
Absolutely. And reach
Yeah.
out, please. You know, love to see you. Love to have you come in anytime.
Yeah.
So.
For the Potenza
Yeah. And the IV glutathione.
and the IV glutathione.
It's going to be like, whew,
boom.
Yeah.
That's it right there. Awesome.
All right.
All right.
Thanks,
Talk to you next
guys.
time.
Okay. Bye-bye.